Hey guys, Tim Walling here with SC Legal Carrier. We train people to get a CWP in the state of South Carolina. If you need a concealed weapons permit, please look us up online at sclegalcarrier.com. What I want to show you guys today is a new firearm that I picked up from Sig Sauer. This is a P320. This is a compact version of it, and this is the RXG. So let me show you this firearm. We are going to unload this gun real quick. Ammo over here. Safety check it. It is clear, no magazine in the gun. Now, let's take a quick look at this gun. This thing is clear. Let's drop this slide. Now, this is not how the gun came out of the box, okay? This gun came with this grip on it. Just your basic medium grip from Sig. This grip accommodates a 15-round magazine, which the gun came with two 15-round magazines in the gun. But I decided to do some testing with it. How many Sig Sauer pistols can one man own? Well, for me, this is the ultimate gun. Love this thing, love the way it turned out, love the way it tested. So let's just go over with you what we did and how it arrived at this point right here. So one of the things we did is we started checking the triggers. It came with this curved trigger in the gun. We're going to test it with that, do the pull weight on it. We're going to take this device out there, do some pull weight. Battery died on me. My wife had to run and get some batteries for me. She saved me on several things while we were out there testing it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test. This is Gray Gun's flat trigger. I'm going to test Gray Gun's flat trigger in it. We're going to check the pull weight, see if the pull weight's any different in it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this in it. This is an Amory Craft trigger, and this is an adjustable trigger that goes in the firearm. So we're going to put this in it and see what it does to the pull weight. And of course, the Sig. This is the X5 Legion trigger. So I've got an X5 Legion, and I put the Amory Craft trigger in the X5 Legion, so I had this one just sitting in a drawer. So I pulled it out and put it on this gun and tested it, and you see that's the one that I went with, and we'll take you through the process of doing that. So I wanted to share the gun with you. We're going to try some different grips on this gun. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to put this Sig, this is an X5 grip here, and we're going to put this on the gun. Now remember, I cut this grip to fit the X Compact. The X Compact is just a little bit shorter than this one. It's got a 3.6 inch barrel where this has got a 3.9 inch barrel. So it's just a little bit longer. And I wanted to run this Lima on it, but I didn't get a chance to run the Lima laser on there. Maybe we'll do another video on that later on. I'd like to put this is the M17 grip. I want to try it on there. And I had a small grip around here somewhere. I think that might be one of the small grips that I had for it. But you guys know that there are so many accessories for these P320 guns. I mean, it's almost unlimited what you can do with your gun and do it the way you want it and customize it out to fit your needs. For me, this turned out to be the perfect gun. I love this gun. It's got everything I like to have in it. The Wilson Combat grip is the one that I like the most. I love the feel. I love how it's cut, contoured to your hand. It's got a small mag well cut into it from the factory here on the bottom. That X5 trigger just makes it amazing. The Sig Romeo 1 Pro 6 MOA is wonderful on here. So from Sig, you get these suppressor height sights, and you get the red dot on here, 6 MOA on it. And you can use your iron sights on the gun, or you can use the red dot on the gun. Either one, you can easily see these through the gun, and it's supposed to come preset from Sig at the factory, zeroed in. So we're going to drop a battery in this thing, and we're going to go out and test it and just see how good a job they did at the factory at presetting this thing for us. But first, let me show you what it looked like straight out of the box when I got this firearm. Guys, you know I had the X Compact, but here's the key thing. The X Compact that I had, the rear sights on it, it was one plate. The rear sights were mounted to the rear plate. In the RXP, your rear sights are mounted on the firearm, and then your optic is cut here in front of it. So if you take the optic off, you still got the rear sights. This one actually comes from the factory with these suppressor height sights on it. So the firearm does come with the Romeo Pro 1. This is a 6 MOA. I prefer a 2 or 3 MOA, but that's how the firearm actually comes. I may end up changing that, but for now, I'm going to run it as it comes from the factory. So the standard trigger, it's a curved trigger. Me personally, my option, I don't like the curved triggers, but some people do. So there's a little take up in that trigger, and then when you go to squeeze the trigger, there's a little bit of creep, not a whole lot in it. Look at the reset. Short reset, it really pushes forward. You can feel it, hear it click into place there. So not much take up, tiny bit of creep in it. Trigger does break good and crisp. Really, really good reset in the trigger. I do like that. So see you guys at the range. All right guys, we're about 10 yards away from the target, and let's load this thing up. So we've got some 9mm in here, 147 grain, and let's just see how the dot is set from the factory here. Let's give it a fire. Let's see how it does. Let's go look at that. I want you guys to see that. Factory set. I hadn't done anything to it. I hadn't touched it at all. 10 yards from the target. And you guys see that? 10 yards away. I'd say that's pretty good from Sig with the red dot. Pretty awesome there, actually. Great job on their part. So obviously we don't need to do anything to reset that. So let's try the iron sights on it real quick. Let's see how the iron sights are set. Yep, you know I don't see that well, so that might be a factor. I don't have my bifocals on here. Let's just see if I can center that up real quick. See where I'm gonna be. And I'm a little bit low, about 2.5 inches low. Could be user error in it. Let's check that red dot one more time here. So pretty good. Sig did a great job setting it up. A couple shots I took with the iron sights, a little bit low on it. Like I say, could have been me. Could be the fact that I don't have my actual glasses on when I'm doing that. But let's change the trigger and let's change the grip on this thing also. Next thing we did is we traded this grip out and we put the X5 grip on it. I had cut the front off of the X5 grip. So we put it on the gun and we put the Gray Guns trigger on here. Now the Gray Guns trigger, the pull weight was 4 pounds 15 ounces. 4 pounds 15 ounces with the Gray Guns trigger. So it did lower the trigger weight on it. And let's take a look at the gun at the range shooting it. All right guys, we've got the X5 grip on here and we've got the Gray Guns trigger in it. Dropping the trigger in actually reduced the pull weight. We got the big stick magazine, which is what we'll need with the X5. We've got it loaded up and fires really nice. I love the X5 grip on this gun. I just like the grip in general, but still zeroed, still shoots good. I do like the trigger on this thing. That trigger is really nice. Very accurate gun. Sig does a great job making these things. The Romeo 1 Pro has a lot of glass in it, so it's easy to find and acquire that sight. Even at the 6 MOX in it, I'm still staying around there in the red and right off to the edge of it. So they did a great job. Now, the next thing we did is we traded and we put this Wilson Combat grip on the firearm. And we also used this Amory Craft trigger. So this Amory Craft trigger is an adjustable trigger. We made some adjustments for it, used it at the range, And the pull weight on this Amory Craft trigger is 3 pounds 9 ounces. 3 pounds 9 ounces when we put that in. Really nice trigger. Now, guys, this trigger is for competition. It is not for concealed carry or home protection, because if one of these screws were to move, this trigger would not function any longer. So they don't recommend you to use it for concealed carry or home protection, just competition use. But let's take a look at that trigger in the gun. We got our Wilson Combat on here. Doesn't it look good on it? Super nice. I love how they've cut all this stuff in so that when your hand goes on it, it fits really good. They've got it cut over here with your magazine release. Makes it really easy to catch that magazine release. And we're the only ones here. We're going to spin this way, let you get a real good look at this trigger. So no travel in that trigger at all. And then you pull and it breaks very, very crisp. Very nice reset, and it just moves just the tiniest bit before that trigger breaks on us. So we got our 17 round magazine, got her loaded up. Let's see how she does here. Super nice. Man, this thing just runs so good. You can always count on Sig products to come through, can't you? This gun is not only beautiful, comes set up from the factory and ready to roll. The red dots on. You've got your suppressor sights on here for this gun. It come with a good trigger in it, but I just like these other triggers, and I will have to say that you won't be disappointed in the Wilson Combat grips. Just if you want it just a little smaller here, you can get these in the 15 round magazine, so it hides a little better for concealed carry. But I like the 17 round magazines. I love the way, well, the grip. I like the grip with the 17 round magazines in it because I love the feel of it in my hand, that full grip when I grab it. And this is just super nice. Love this gun, love it. The final thing we did is we installed the X5 Legion trigger. So I have one of these Amory Craft triggers in my X5 Legion. So I had this the X5 Legion trigger just sitting in the drawer, pulled it out, put it in here. This thing was extremely difficult to put in. When I installed these other triggers, they dropped right in. I didn't have any issues. But man, I really fought with this X5 trigger to get it in. I have no idea why it was so much more difficult for me to install, but it really was. Let's shoot this at the range now. So we've got our Wilson Combat grip here, and we've got the X5 trigger in our firearm. So let's give this thing a try. A little bit of slack in it, minimal take up, but when you give it a squeeze, just tiny bit of creep in it, and then it breaks. Nice reset. Breaks really crisp. I do like the X5 trigger in it. So let's shoot some steel with it. We've got a few left in this magazine. Let's try it. Slides forward, trigger, and we are clear. So I love the Sig products. I'm glad I upgraded this gun and cut the rear slide so these sights fit into it. So I like the optic, easy to see, easy to find, even in this sun. We've got the sun coming right in our face here as we're shooting. I love that you can see the suppressor sights through there, beautiful. Sig has got it all set up from the factory. I didn't have to do anything to this but put a battery in it and begin to come out here and use it. The X5 trigger weight at the range was 3 pounds 5 ounces. So the X5 trigger actually had the lightest trigger weight on it. I didn't do anything to the mechanism inside the gun. I just dropped the trigger inside the gun. And that is the trigger we're going to leave in the gun. The Wilson Combat grip is the one we're going to keep on the firearm. We're going to run the 21 round big stick magazines in this thing. home protection. 17 round, be a flush mount for this grip that I'll use in this gun for concealed carry. I do have my TLR light on the front here. It's a stream light. I love these lights. It comes with a light and a laser on it here. I don't know if you guys can see the laser in it. For me, I am a Sig Sauer man, and I do love the P320 series. This gun is great. It's going to make a great home protection gun. It's going to make a really good concealed carry gun. This would even be a good competition gun also. Just an all-around usable firearm for whatever it is that you're going to do with it. So guys, don't push your responsibility as an adult off onto a child. Buy gun locks and gun safes. Secure your firearms. Till next time, take care.